The Uffizi is one of the oldest and most important art museums in the world, housing the collected treasures of the Medici family across nearly 50 rooms that trace the development of Western painting from the Byzantine era through the High Renaissance. Botticelli's The Birth of Venus and Primavera, Leonardo's Annunciation, Raphael's Leotex, Caravaggio's Medusa. The density of world-famous works is almost implausible. Book tickets well in advance and allow a full morning or afternoon. Rushing the Uffizi is a mistake. Filippo Brunelleschi's dome, completed in 1436 and still the largest masonry dome ever constructed, dominates the Florence skyline from every direction and announces the city's ambition to the world. The exterior of the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, clad in green, white and pink marble, is overwhelmingly beautiful, and the climb to the top of the dome rewards visitors with one of the great panoramic views in Italy. The adjacent baptistry, with its famous gilded bronze Gates of Paradise, is a masterpiece in its own right. Michelangelo spent 2 years carving David from a single flawed block of marble between 1501 and 1504, and the result is widely regarded as the greatest sculpture ever made. In person, in the purpose-built rotunda of the Accademia, the scale and psychological intensity of the work, the tension in David's veins, the calculating focus in his gaze, is genuinely startling. The Accademia also displays Michelangelo's haunting, unfinished prisoners' statues, which feel like figures struggling to free themselves from the stone. The Ponte Vecchio is Florence's oldest bridge and one of the most photographed structures in Italy, a medieval span across the Arno River lined with goldsmiths and jewelers' shops that have occupied the bridge since the 16th century. Above the shops runs the Vasari Corridor, a private elevated passageway built for the Medici to move between the Uffizi and Palazzo Pitti without mixing with the public. At dusk, when the golden light catches the buildings reflected in the Arno, the scene is impossibly romantic. High on a hill south of the Arno, Piazzale Michelangelo offers the classic postcard-perfect panorama of Florence. The Arno curving through the city, Brunelleschi's dome rising above the terracotta rooftops, the Palazzo Vecchio tower piercing the skyline. Sunset draws large crowds, but the view at any hour, including early morning when the light is clear and the piazza is quiet, is magnificent. The climb up through the hillside gardens of the Viale dei Colli is itself a pleasure. The Palazzo Pitti, the vast Renaissance palace that became the principal Medici residence, now houses 6 museums, including the Palatine Gallery, whose ceilings and walls are hung floor to rafters with works by Raphael, Titian, Rubens and Caravaggio in the original Medici manner. Behind the palace, the Boboli Gardens are one of Italy's greatest formal gardens, a terraced hillside of fountains, grottos, statues and cypress alleys that unfold over 45 perfectly landscaped acres. The Piazza della Signoria is the civic heart of Florence, dominated by the imposing Palazzo Vecchio fortress and flanked by the open-air Loggia dei Lanzi, which displays a remarkable collection of Renaissance sculpture, including Cellini's dazzling bronze Perseus with the head of Medusa and Giambologna's Rape of the Sabine Women. The square itself has been the stage for some of the most dramatic moments in Florentine history, from Savonarola's Bonfire of the Vanities to popular uprisings against the Medici. The Bargello is Florence's most underrated major museum, the city's former prison and magistrates' court, now housing the world's finest collection of Italian Renaissance sculpture. Donatello's bronze David, the first freestanding nude sculpture since antiquity. His revolutionary bronze St. George and works by Michelangelo, Verrocchio and Ghiberti fill a dramatic vaulted courtyard and high vaulted halls. Because the crowds that flock to the Uffizi and Accademia often overlook it, the Bargello can feel blissfully quiet, Santa Croce is the largest Franciscan church in the world and the burial place of Florence's greatest citizens. Michelangelo, Galileo, Machiavelli, and Ghiberti all have tombs here, alongside memorials to Dante and Leonardo da Vinci. The church itself is a soaring Gothic interior lined with frescoed chapels, including Giotto's magnificent Bardi and Peruzzi chapels. The adjacent Pazzi Chapel, designed by Brunelleschi, is a small masterpiece of early Renaissance architectural thinking. Cross the Arno to the Oltrarno, the other side of the Arno, and you step into a Florence that feels more lived in and less overwhelmed by tourism. The neighborhood is the city's artisan quarter, home to goldsmiths, bookbinders, and restorers working in the same ateliers their predecessors occupied 5 centuries ago. Winding uphill from here brings you to San Miniato al Monte, a magnificent 11th century Romanesque basilica with extraordinary inlaid marble floors and a luminous mosaic apse, and another stunning view back over the city.